Anti-aging exercises everybody needs. Targeted exercise slows muscle and joint decline with age. Studies show adults who train 3 times per week maintain up to 80% more strength and 40 to 50% better balance than inactive peers. These exercises preserve bone density, improve mobility, and support metabolic health. They also reduce the risk of falls and maintain independence, so let's begin with them. Exercise 1. Squat. The squat is a primary lower body movement that preserves leg strength, joint integrity, and mobility. Aging produces measurable reductions in quadriceps mass, hip extension strength, and lower body power. Longitudinal studies on sarcopenia identify leg strength as one of the earliest and most reliable markers of functional decline. The squat counteracts this by activating the quadriceps, gluteus maximus, hamstrings, and stabilizing musculature involved in controlled descent and ascent. The movement improves femoral, pelvic, and spinal loading patterns, helping maintain bone mineral density through consistent mechanical stress. This is important because bone density in the femoral neck and hip decreases with age, increasing fracture risk. Squats maintain the strength needed for standing, rising from chairs, climbing stairs, and transitioning between seated and standing positions. These actions directly correlate with independence and reduced mortality risk in older populations. The squat enhances neuromuscular coordination by reinforcing motor patterns used during daily locomotion and posture maintenance. Because the exercise requires synchronized activation of multiple joints and muscle groups, it helps preserve movement efficiency and control. Exercise 2. Deadlift. The deadlift strengthens the posterior chain, countering age-related reductions in hip extension force and spinal stability. Aging often leads to decreased gluteal activation, weaker hamstrings, and altered lumbar mechanics. The deadlift trains the hips to generate force through an efficient hinge pattern, distributing load properly between the hips and spine. This reduces the likelihood of lower back compensation during lifting tasks. The exercise increases loading on the spine and hips in a controlled manner, supporting bone density in regions vulnerable to osteopenia. It also strengthens grip, which is considered an independent predictor of mortality because it reflects overall neuromuscular function and total muscle mass. Deadlifting reinforces the ability to lift everyday objects safely by improving trunk bracing and coordinated muscle recruitment. Research on functional aging shows that maintaining hip hinge strength contributes to gait efficiency, reduced fall risk, and better control during bending and lifting tasks. Because the deadlift engages large muscle groups simultaneously, it supports glucose metabolism and improves insulin sensitivity, both of which influence biological aging. Exercise 3. Push-up. The push-up is an upper body and trunk stabilization exercise that maintains pressing strength, shoulder stability, and postural control. It targets the pectorals, triceps, anterior deltoids, and deep stabilizing muscles of the spine. Upper body strength declines steadily with age due to reduced motor unit recruitment and muscle fiber loss. Push-ups counter this decline through a closed-chain movement that improves joint alignment and movement precision. The exercise enhances scapular mechanics, reducing the risk of shoulder impingement and degenerative changes. It also reinforces trunk stability as the core maintains neutral alignment throughout the movement. Maintaining push-up ability correlates with better cardiovascular health, partly because the movement challenges multiple muscle groups simultaneously. Push-ups support functional tasks such as pushing doors, stabilizing oneself during slips, and carrying objects. Because the movement can be modified progressively, it provides consistent muscular stimulus across varying strength levels without requiring equipment. Exercise 4. Row. Row strengthens the musculature responsible for pulling, scapular control, and upper back stability. With aging, the muscles that retract and stabilize the scapula weaken, contributing to forward shoulder posture, reduced thoracic extension, and impaired shoulder mechanics. The row trains the latissimus dorsi, rhomboids, posterior deltoids, and spinal stabilizers, helping counter these changes. This exercise improves posture, which influences respiratory function by allowing greater thoracic expansion. It also supports shoulder joint health by maintaining proper scapular positioning during arm movement. The row enhances grip and elbow flexor strength, which decline due to loss of fast twitch fibers and reduced neural drive. Functional tasks such as lifting, pulling, and stabilizing objects require the strength developed by rowing movements. Because the row engages multiple upper body and trunk muscles, it improves muscular endurance and contributes to even load distribution across the spine. This reduces localized strain that can accumulate with age. Exercise 5. Overhead press. The overhead press maintains vertical pressing strength, shoulder mobility, and upper torso stability. Aging often results in reduced shoulder range of motion, weakened stabilizers, and impaired coordination of the muscles that support overhead movements. The overhead press trains the deltoids, upper trapezius, serratus anterior, and rotator cuff muscles that control humeral and scapular motion. Maintaining overhead strength is important for daily tasks involving reaching and lifting. The exercise encourages thoracic extension, countering age-related postural rounding. Strong shoulder musculature reduces the likelihood of joint instability and degenerative movement patterns. Research indicates that shoulder strength contributes to fall prevention, as arm stability plays a role in balance recovery during unexpected disturbances. The overhead press also requires trunk stabilization, reinforcing spinal alignment and neuromuscular coordination across the upper body. Exercise 6. Hip thrust. The hip thrust is a targeted glute strengthening exercise that helps maintain hip extension power, pelvic stability, and gait efficiency. Gluteal atrophy accelerates with age, weakening the primary muscles responsible for stride propulsion and upright posture. The hip thrust produces high activation of the gluteus maximus with minimal spinal compression, making it effective for maintaining lower body power without excessive joint stress. Stronger glutes stabilize the pelvis during walking and reduce knee and lower back strain by distributing force properly. Research links hip extension strength to walking speed, which is a validated predictor of functional age and overall health. The hip thrust improves neuromuscular control of the hip joint, supporting balance during directional changes and reducing fall risk. By reinforcing the muscles that maintain pelvic alignment, the exercise promotes efficient movement patterns that tend to degrade with aging. Exercise 7. Farmer's carry. The farmer's carry trains grip strength, shoulder stability, trunk control, and gait mechanics simultaneously. Grip strength is a well-established biomarker for mortality, reflecting neuromuscular function, muscle mass, and systemic health. The farmer's carry develops grip endurance through sustained load management while walking. Carrying weight while maintaining an upright posture strengthens the core muscles that stabilize the spine during movement. This contributes to improved balance and reduced fall risk. The exercise enhances gait by encouraging controlled steps, consistent stride rhythm, and coordinated hip movement under load. This pattern supports walking stability as people age. The farmer's carry improves shoulder integrity by training the muscles that resist downward pull, supporting joint alignment. Because the movement mimics daily tasks involving carrying objects, it preserves functional capability essential for independent living. Exercise 8. Step up. The step up strengthens the quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and hip stabilizers through a unilateral movement that resembles stair climbing. Aging produces reduced knee extensor strength and diminished ability to generate force on one leg, both of which impair stair navigation and contribute to instability. The step-up reinforces the muscular demands required for elevating the body and maintaining balance on a single limb. Research shows that unilateral leg strength is highly predictive of mobility and balance outcomes. The step-up improves control of the knee and hip during vertical displacement, reducing the risk of missteps and instability. It also trains hip stabilizers that prevent lateral collapse during walking. Step-up ability correlates with gait speed and lower body power, which are reliable indicators of functional age. This exercise strengthens movement patterns used in rising, climbing, and stepping, sustaining essential daily capabilities. Exercise 9. Rowing machine. The rowing machine delivers full-body cardiovascular training while imposing minimal joint stress. Aging reduces cardiovascular output, mitochondrial efficiency, and pulmonary elasticity. Rowing engages the legs, hips, back, arms, and core in a repetitive cycle that increases oxygen demand and cardiac workload. Studies show improvements in VO2 max, stroke volume, and resting heart rate with consistent rowing training. The movement strengthens the posterior chain while promoting thoracic extension, countering the postural deterioration seen with reduced activity levels. Because the exercise distributes effort across the entire body, it minimizes localized fatigue and maintains muscular endurance. Rowing enhances trunk stability by requiring coordinated force transmission from legs to arms through the spine. Its seated, low-impact nature makes it suitable for aging joints while still providing significant cardiovascular stimulus. Exercise 10. Single leg balance. Single leg balance trains proprioception, neuromuscular coordination, and lower body stabilization. Aging reduces sensory feedback from joints, slows neural conduction, and weakens stabilizing muscles in the feet, ankles, and hips. Standing on one leg challenges the sensory systems responsible for balance, including visual, vestibular, and mechanoreceptive inputs. Research links single-leg balance ability to reduced fall risk and improved longevity. The exercise strengthens the hip abductors, ankle stabilizers, and core muscles that prevent collapse during stance. It enhances reaction speed by training the nervous system to adjust quickly to shifts in body position. Single-leg balance directly supports gait stability, turning, stepping over obstacles, and navigating uneven surfaces. Maintaining this skill helps preserve independence by reducing injury risk associated with instability. To make this exercise more approachable, start by standing near a wall or chair for light support. Even brief holds train the body to sense position and correct small wobbles. As balance improves, try lifting one foot slightly rather than fully off the ground. Gentle arm movements or slow breathing help the nervous system stay calm while adjusting posture. Practicing daily keeps the feet, ankles, and hips responsive instead of stiff. Over time, balance becomes more automatic, reducing the mental effort needed to stay upright. This simple practice supports steady walking, safer movement, and confidence in everyday tasks as the body ages. Daily exercise preserves strength, mobility, and balance while supporting metabolic and joint health. Consistent practice slows aging, improves posture, and maintains independence. To keep learning exercises that protect and strengthen your body, like this video, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends.